Welcome back to HUMN, and today we're going to be talking all about gymnastic grips, how to use them, when to use them, and if you even should be using them at all. So are gymnastic grips going to be that bit of equipment that gets your next breakthrough in the gym? Well, let's dive into it and find out. So first up, what are gymnastic grips used for? Originally, they were used for, believe it or not, gymnastics. On the high bars, they'd be used to help grip onto those sort of swingy bars where they're moving in between, my technical language, the swingy bars. So moving around those bars, there'd be a lot of friction in the hands and there could be sort of rips and tears and things like that. So the amount of pressure you're putting through those hands really needed to be negated with a little bit of, well, it'd be leather. Sometimes they have a little dowel in there as well. And that would really just help those people grip onto the bars. Now with CrossFit, we do a little bit of gymnastics in there, and we've taken on this approach to using something to protect our hands, and not only that, but maximize our grip while we're using the bar to perform some of our gymnastic movements. So in CrossFit, things like pull-ups, toes to bar, muscle-ups, they do ask a lot of our grip, and they do ask us to try and sort of do many of these repetitions. And that really is the crux of why we might need to start using these grips. The repetitions, the tension, the torsion on those hands really does need a little bit of help. So what sort of grips are there out there, and what can we start to think about using as we go into our pull-up, toes to bar routine? So many functional fitness programs do use a lot of calisthenics movements, and this is where we're going to be looking to use these grips. Got a few different variations with me today to look at, but the idea really in all of these grips is the same. There's a portion of the grip that will turn around your wrist and secure just up below your hand. And there's a portion of the grip that will come in contact with the bar. This is where it's getting your grip. Some of you might see they have holes in them for your fingers. Some of them don't have those holes for the fingers. And you can see there's a little bit of a dowel element on that one as well. We're going to dive into just what these are going to be used for over at the rig. So before we get over to the rig and have a look at these grips, we're going to start to think about why you might want to use those and why you might not want to use those. So first of all, using grips is going to help us reduce those rips. Okay, so more reps, unless you are using grips. It is also going to help you to put multiples of your body weight through those hands without too much stress and duress. You are going to be able to hold on for a little longer, okay? The things it's not going to help, believe it or not, it's not massively going to help your grip. So grip training is super important before you start these. So if you're going from somewhere that is unable to maybe hold for 30 seconds or more on a bar, or even up towards a minute, I think using a grip would help you get past that minute, but that's not going to help you get stronger. So it's really worth bearing in mind that grip training and being able to hang with your body weight from a bar is super important before you start using these grips, okay? But let's have a little look at how these grips work. For the purposes of now, I've got two different brands on here. One's got the finger holes in here, and one's got that long sort of freedom style grip with a small dowel in the top. If we go over towards the bar, we're just going to see how these different grips are set up on the bar. So first up, we're going to have a little look at this fingerless style grip here. So with this grip, there is no attachment other than around the wrist. There's a little sweatband there to keep a bit of comfort and sweat off there. And the idea of this is to get as much of this grippy surface over the bar as we can. So with this, we're holding a nice high grip up on the wrist here. So it's nice and high up on towards the wrist. You can obviously tighten it up as you go through. We're looking to get as much of this surface over the top of the bar as we can. If you notice as well, with this grip here, I am taking my thumb out of the equation and going over the top to add more of a grip towards the top. You can do it with thumbs round, but it can be a little uncomfortable here. This brings me on to why you might want to opt for a grip with finger holes in there. So these grips with finger holes in there, they may have a little bit more versatility in different grips. If you do have this finger hole section in there, having them loose around the first knuckle of your fingers here, it will start to create a little bit of a dowel, as you can see, within that grip. And it's also going to allow us to get our thumb around the bar, okay? So looking at how we could get the grip, still trying to get as much of that grip around the bar. And I've got a lot more movement here to get my thumb around there. The reason I like getting my thumb around the bar is it is going to promote a bit more muscle activation through the arms. Whereas this thumbs over grip is going to start to really recruit a lot more movement from the lats. So why you might want to use different grips like that, if you were doing things more like strict pull-ups, strict movements, This spun round grip's really gonna help promote that strength. Whereas if you are using a few more kipping movements, maybe going over the bar for bar muscle ups and things where you need to create loads of power through those lats, having your thumbs over is really gonna help you to get that nice bit of power into those movements. Now, that's all very well said and done. These grips are gonna help us, but where might they hinder us, okay? So you can maybe see that these are a sort of rubbery texture. There's a lot of different textures with grips. These ones here do have a lot of stick on them. We have seen a little bit of this happening to a few people on social media where something like grip lock is happening. Now, if you notice this grip here, it doesn't actually go further than the fingers on my hand. Now, personal preference, I think this is a safe way to have your grips. However, we have seen a trend of these grips being a little longer or people buying bigger sizes, and that flap of grippy material is getting trapped around the bar, especially doing movements like pullovers. So we're just gonna have a little look at what that grip lock is and how potentially choosing the right grips for the right movements could stop you from getting that pain through jumping off the bar and your grip staying up there. So let's have a little look at it. So you may get to a point where you're moving around the bar, especially something like pullovers, maybe even muscle ups, where you are now getting a little bit more slack in the top of this grip. This slack can move all the way around, be trapped underneath your hand, and from here, you can almost have a full grip on that bar with barely any of your fingers in contact. So this grip here can really cause some pain, shock to the shoulders, and we've even seen some hands and bones in the hands break from that. So if you are doing movements like pullovers, we really recommend you do keep an eye, if you have a really long grip, that it's not wrapping fully round that bar. So reasons to definitely use those grips are to enhance those high rep gymnastic movements, those movements that are giving you a lot more tension through the hands. On the bar, on the rings, anything like that, you can start to wear these grips. The different materials will help different surfaces. It's always worth exploring a few different brands to get into those. I mean, these two here are both very similar, rubbery grips. There are even stickier grips than this. I've seen some grips, really long ones. We talked about the grip lock, but we want to try and make sure that we don't get things super long, but we do get that nice grip on whatever apparatus we're trying to use. Now, some people, when they find something like this, they feel like superhuman, okay? And they want to try and use it for everything. You can use it for barbell movements, you can use it for kettlebell movements, but it really is trying to maintain that idea of not just using it as a crutch to help support you, but really to enhance your training as you go through. So if you were doing things like farmer's carries, should you use a grip? It really depends. You could train your grip a lot better without them, but could you lift a little more load and train other parts of your body rather than your grip by using grips? Maybe. So the beauty of these things is they are a tool for our training. They're here to help and enhance what we do, not hinder us. So when there are movements where we could be spinning around the bar, we need to be careful. When there are movements where we want to try and maximize our grip to maximize our power output within that workout, we might want to use them. But if we are training and we're trying to improve our grip strength, they may not be the best thing to be using. So don't be one of those people that use the grip for everything. You're not gripping up for burpees. You're not ripping the door open to get into the gym with your grips already on. You are using them for the reason that you might want to get better. You might want to get more reps in your pull-ups, etc. Okay, so grips are great. And, okay, so these are a little funky. Looking after them is a great way to also make sure that we keep the life in these, and you are not going to be people's friends with really smelly grips. So a little wash every now and then, making sure they're chalk free as well is a good way to go. Just washing them in soapy water every now and then can not only extend the life of those grips, but can also keep your friends, especially when you're high-fiving people around the gym. You don't want a cloud of your stinky grips. So that's it from Team Human today. If you have liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please do hit us with your comments on these videos. Well, it helps direct our energy towards what you guys want to see. And remember, guys, just get a grip.